when you use a large language model today, what we have in mind is ChatGPT.
Yeah.
ChatGPT is the most known large language model. Why do we call it a large language model? It's because they have trained what we call transformers on top. I am oversimplifying it.
Yeah, please.
They have trained it on a lot of text content.
Yeah.
Tweets, websites, blogs, books, etc. And it's such a huge amount of data that has been compiled into it that, okay, it doesn't take a lot of space. Like it was perhaps exabytes of data and the models are perhaps terabytes. It's still huge.
Yeah.
And to get those models into memory, they need to use very big GPUs because what is important is what we call the video RAM, video memory that is in those big GPUs. Now, people in the open source community took work from Meta, which is called Llama, which is another large language model, which is way smaller. Way smaller, meaning that it had been trained on way less data as well. And it has also less parameters. Whereas ChatGPT might be 245 billion parameters, or even people are talking about 400 billion, with some tricks with multiple submodels or stuff like that. I won't enter into detail. Those models from Llama were like 7 billion parameters, 13 billion parameters, 33 billion parameters, and 65, which is way smaller. And then people understood that that's the title of a paper that came out a month ago, something like that, which is called All You Need is Textbooks.
Okay.
Because when you learn as a kid, you learn with textbooks mostly. And what if your model, you took a small model like that and gave it the equivalent of textbook, not just all the content on earth, but just very curated content. Then it behaves properly and it reaches a level of a model that could have 150 billion parameters and like God knows how many trillions of like input data. Here with a 13 billion parameters, you can get results that are strikingly close to like those bigger models.
Okay.
And those smaller models are open source. And then people saw, yeah, well, perhaps since they are so small, we can lower the quality of it. So going from 16-bit precision, they've gone to 4-bit precision. Just like when you look at a JPEG, it's compressed.
Yes.
That's a bit similar. And then why not run it on CPU? We don't need big GPUs anymore.
Yeah.
And it works.
Okay.
And then you can take any kind, and then you can take a decentralized cloud computing like aleph.im on the serverless fashion, where you just put the code and then the network finds where to run it, and to scale to like thousands or hundreds of thousands of users, you put those models inside, and it works.
Okay.
Really well. And that's what Libertai did. That they have put those open source models, tuning it a bit for that decentralized network inside the aleph.im network. And now, if you go to chat.libertai.io, you can talk with specific models. If you go on the top right, you can choose. Right now, it's GNU Hermes, Wizard Coder, and a few others. There is Wizard Coder, which is trained on coding textbooks.
Okay.
GNU Hermes, which is trained on more generic textbooks. It's not really textbooks, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
It's what we call a fine-tune or a LoRa, low output. I don't remember right now. Basically, it's like a fine-tuning at all the levels of the text generation.
Okay.
And you can talk with it pretty easily. It's fast and it gives you accurate result on a decentralized network. Now, the good part about it is that if you use OpenAI or its API, they have all your data. And there is a lot of like startups that I saw here at EthCC that were, yeah, we are doing AI. Oh, really? What is your model? GPT? Yeah, right. Or somewhere like, yeah, no, we do custom fine tuning. Really? Tell me more. Yeah, at the end we use GPT and the OpenAI API. Okay, so like they were all doing it, and a lot of government agencies are starting to do it, and then
Yes.
they have all your data. Because if in the future everything is using AI, the main centralization point won't be AWS, it will be OpenAI, because it will be the cloud.
Definitely.
The cloud that you use, and the cloud will be OpenAI. So that's why it also makes sense for the aleph.im network in our battle against centralization to like have a decentralized AI as well, because that's also infrastructure. That's AI infrastructure, and OpenAI, I've heard that they will also provide APIs really close to what OpenAI provides. So like instead of OpenAI APIs, you can use Liberty APIs on top of the aleph.im network.
Okay.
And then you can have a decentralized API.